Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the newsroom and welcome to the Goutopia News Network, your unreliable source for DSP News. This is the Snort Report. Defiant sniff. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here with one of our favorites, Snort Burnell, Dspgaming. Chill stream to get monies. Monies. And it's a lot of work to record as before. Now, the chill streams were a nice little cash grab. To be honest, it was a nice little thing he had going there for a while. I mean, he had to embarrass himself to get it, but it was a nice little lick for a minute there. It's gonna dwindle. It's gonna eventually die out because MLB is just getting boring. Seeing him in the bathroom and blackout is just a thing at this point. And what's the other game he plays? Oh, and then the Minecraft stuff. Well, I mean, he's got some type of money-making scheme going on where you can, oh man, what is it? Like, you can basically, he's basically auctioning off different buildings, landmarks, or anything you want, really, if you are the top contributor of the night, which that has to break TOS in some ways, yeah? I don't know, semantics. So, that's what the chill streams are all about. And it's a lot of work to record as before. Now, if he's talking about recording guerrilla style with the handy cam, not handy cam, but with the camcorder, or having his camera, propped up on a tripod on his television and all that, it's a lot of trouble. He defended that shit for years. That was the main reason why, or one of the reasons anyway, why he didn't want to go to direct capture. But now all of a sudden it's a lot more work. Huh? Okay, we're just gonna have to wait and hear what the explanation is about it. Sounds like bullshit. Probably is bullshit. But, like anything else, we'll just hear it out. We'll hear him out and we'll try to be objective. No, we're not gonna be objective. We're just gonna eat him up on that. It was a dumb way. Okay, if you're gonna start off, because I started off in a shitty way too. And when you're starting off, fair enough. But he had the means, and he didn't have the know-how, but other people did, had the know-how to help him go to direct capture, and he didn't do it for... In my personal opinion, he didn't go to direct capture because he thought it wasn't considered a transformative work, because you're pulling directly from the feed, and he thought that, oh, all those other people will end up getting boxed out and he'll just move up because he's not breaking copyright law, which is stupid, by the way, Phil. Absolutely stupid to think that, but whatever. And I think that's one of the reasons why that kept him from it. But in that, he just didn't know what he was doing. And he had to wait for John. And I think Chris and Teo helped him with that too. I think they were still on good terms with him before Phil totally, shitted on them. But anyway, we'll go ahead and get into this. Hopefully it's worthwhile. Hopefully it's somewhat amusing. And we'll just try to make the best of a rather shitty situation as it pertains to Phil. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Snort Report, and this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network of Productions. You guys all know the slogan. I don't smell no bacon cooking yet, but I promise you I'm getting on it. I'm on it. I'm right there. I'm right there at the stove right now and whatnot. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of chili oil in there and whatnot, so it gives you guys some of that spice. We're going for that spicy bacon today, ladies and gentlemen. So it should be good. It's time to watch me work. Oh boy. It's harder to do it the way I was doing it than now. Wow. So you protected that shit for me?
Now let's play the game! Oh my god! What the fuck?
Holy shit! That is an epic fucking intro, dude. And I have to warn everyone. Warning. What you may see right now is going to be absolutely disgusting. Sound good?
Alright, sounds good to me.
One can hope. Ladies and gentlemen, yet again, we are here, one of our favorites, Snort Burnell, Dspgaming. Chill streams that get monies. And it's a lot of work to record as before. Here we go.
Tomorrow night, I'm going to do Black Ops 4 Blackout. That's right. In honor of Independence Day, we're going to do some Battle Royale. Interactive Battle Royale. Because as you know, when I play Blackout, it's very interactive where I talk with you guys and we have a good time together. Alright, so that's going to be a fun stream tomorrow night. And you might be saying, well, wait a minute. Why is Phil going to be doing Blackout? I thought that the chill streams were on hiatus. Well, they were, but after doing new release content for a straight week, last night I said, man, I think I'm going to break it up with a chill stream of Minecraft. I think people would really like that because they're missing the more interactive stuff. Last night's Minecraft stream, not only was one of the...
Alright, first things first. One, and this is just a kind of like a question, a poll, if you will, to all of you. Out of Minecraft, Call of Duty Blackout, and MLB The Show, what do you think, which game, I should say, do you think produced the most gold dust? I'm just going to throw that out there at you guys right now, because I'm anxious to kind of hear what you guys think. So, that's a thing. As it pertains to... the whole thing with the new games. Well, the chill stream's supposed to be on hiatus, then the new games flopped. They didn't really flop, I'll explain myself in a minute. And now he's going back to the chill streams. It comes down to the general fact that new games, or new releases, cannot save Phil. Are the games great? Not really. I mean, they're not terrible, but they're not really that good. But it just goes to show that new games can't save Phil. The next thing that it proves, without a shadow of a doubt, that Phil does not know what his audience wants. Not at all, excuse me. Not at all. He's completely out of touch with the very people who he expects to, well, that he's supposed to be entertaining. And in turn, he expects to be taking care of them. Which is crazy. All Phil does for the 6 to 8 hours every day, because trust me, he doesn't do any more work than that, is sit here and try to talk to these people, which he can't because he can't relate to any of them because he doesn't know anything that they know. He doesn't read anything that they read or whatnot. He doesn't share any of their hobbies or anything outside of gaming, and I struggle to try to classify him as a gamer. He has no real relation. He's too old for some of them, to be honest. And the ones who are of his age, or at least close to his age, they kind of just go along with whatever he says anyway, like some mindless drone. So you really don't get a say-so. I think that's one of the major problems. I think that's the reason why he fails as much as he does, is because there's a disconnect. There's a bit of disharmony, if you will, between the streamer and the streaming audience. I think that's just what it comes down to. What he needs... or what he should have done is, without being a crude, racist, sexist piece of shit, just terrible jokes in general, is he should have tried to bring them into his time frame. Or, let me reword that. He should have tried to expose them a little bit more to his upbringing, from a time frame, I should say. Because he makes a lot of these references that most people aren't going to get. I had to Google some of that stuff. Some of the stuff I was like, I have no clue what that shit is. He's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just an age gap. And that's fine. But you can't a lot of the jokes that he throws out are like stuck in the 90s. Most of them weren't even a glimmer in their father's eye at that time. So I think that's one of the reasons why Phil fails. Two, he's just not good at what he does. He's never been a good YouTuber. He's a terrible streamer. He's not entertaining. He's not really interactive because he doesn't know anything. And he keeps talking about, modern streaming or in the modern age, but you're not even there. You're still drudging up shit from your past, stuff that you're familiar with, stuff that you're comfortable with. And so what can you really bring to the table outside of what's trending on Twitter? You're not bringing much of anything. So that yet again is another setback to the oh so talented Phil Burnell. But it's just a personal opinion, of course. So now he has to basically fall back on old glory, which is the chill streams, because he's given them a little bit of time to breathe. The problem is that MLB The Show, outside if you guys can get him talking, which means you guys got to throw money at him, and even from a trolling standpoint, I don't even know if most of it's worth it, because there's a lot of people, not a lot, there are a few people over there that can get him talking and get him into these kind of long-winded explanations for free. So that might be something that you guys need to go for. How you go about it depends on you, but obviously you just want to make sure it doesn't come across as being insulting. Outside of that, you can probably get him rolling on anything, but that's neither here nor there. But outside of the money being exchanged to get him to talk, there's nothing really worthwhile coming out of any of it. You know what I'm saying? It's just an old dude sitting around playing games lazily. Minecraft, he doesn't have to really do shit except for some farming, and most of the stuff that he does, he's just looking at the chat while that's going on. MLB The Show, you already see how that is. That's just a baseball simulator as far as I'm concerned, at least the way he's playing it. And then Blackout, he's getting bodied or he's camping for the win. That's it. There's nothing else. And then there was Phoenix Wright, and I don't know what happened to that. I don't know if he finished it. I don't know if he just abandoned it. I don't know. But it just goes to show that he's running out of options. And so if he has to put something on the back burner, so to speak, or put it on ice is the better term, for a week or so, and then try to run back to it, I mean, what did you expect him to do? He has nothing else. Under reasonable circumstances, of course. DSP News.
The most fun streams I've done in ages, okay? Ended up being one of the most interactive, fun streams. Everything was great. Contributions were high.
That's awesome stuff. I can't wait. I'm having so much fun now, really, seriously, and I cannot wait for more. This is cool because I'm getting that positive vibe that I had for most of 2017. I'm getting it back now. But now I'm getting that groove back, getting that vibe back. I'm ready for fun stuff. I hope you guys are ready too.
And everyone was like, damn it.
And I'm really surprised no one ever really picks up on that. I mean, everybody knows it, but we're so quick, and I'm going to just say we as a general group, are so quick to forget that that's the only thing he really gives a shit about is the contributions. The views can be low. Shit, the subs could be low. But as long as the contributions each session, if you will, is high, or it's high enough for him, which is never high enough, he doesn't care about anything else. He can literally let Upper Goutopia burn if that's the case, as long as he's running away with the majority of the gold. He doesn't care about anything else. And I think it's something that we overlook at times. I think all of us have the mental note that, yeah, it's all about money for him, but we really don't think about it because he throws all this extra stuff out there to kind of keep us disoriented. And it happens to the best of us. I don't know. It is what it is. It's easy to forget too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's sitting around doing this shit for a job, so, you know, it's not like you have to keep all this together. You know what I'm saying? Hold on to whatever you can hold on to. You'll figure out the rest later.
I wish Phil would just do more interactive streams and not really focus on the new releases as much. And I said, fair enough. If this is what you guys want, I'll give you what you want. Okay? I'm okay with that. As long as you guys are okay with the new releases taking longer to be covered, I will do more interactive streams at night. Okay? So that's why I said, screw it. Let's do Black Ops 4 Blackout tomorrow night for Independence Day rather than focus on a new release.
Anything for this, right?
The viewers' choice polling is in effect. People are voting, and I wanted to give you guys a brief update. Right now, some of the games that are in the lead of the polls, games such as Knights of the Old Republic, Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, The Elder Scrolls Oblivion, Super Mario 64. I think those are the 4 frontrunners. I think SpongeBob was in there as well. Right now, in the lead is Super Mario 64, but I need to urge this to everyone. People are like, oh man, this game's in the lead, it's just going to win. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to win. Remember that this is an open...
He's going to screw over that poll. Mark my words. I mean, a bunch of us have already kind of said that, but because that's what Phil does when it comes to polls. He's been manipulating them forever, and not even in the way that you would expect Cat or Panda to. He's going to just completely manipulate that poll to do those polls to do what he wants. I was watching, I can't remember what it was. It was an older Tevin video. Right around when Phil started Patreon. He was probably like 3 or 4 months in at this point. And he was doing it back then. I'll probably end up doing that on the Fight Club channel. I'll end up going over that video. But, or those videos, because there's a few times he's done it. It's just kind of how Phil does. He was going to manipulate those polls to make sure that the game that he wants to play makes it. It's just how he does. Which is the reason why, in a lot of ways, excuse me, the Patreon's Choice thing failed because eventually people smarten up, especially after he took the JRPGs out of it. Like, once he did that, he completely, in my personal opinion, he killed off most of that crowd who really enjoyed the Japanese-centric type games. He completely killed that shit off, which is a shame, too, because those were the people that were actually making sure that the goals were reached each month. Just because, even if their game wasn't up for that poll for that month, for example, they would still support it. So next month, they all came out in force once their games came about. I can't believe he screwed the pooch on that one. But, oh, my throat, and all the voice acting, and my throat, I mean, no one told you to sit in that dust bowl of a room and never clean that damn thing up and do all that nasty-ass snorting and shit and not cleaning out your sinuses and whatnot. No one told you to do that. You did that on your own. So, and for his own convenience, he lost money, which was the dumbest thing I've ever heard, let alone seen. But I guarantee you he's going to screw the pooch on this shit. It's just what he does. It's just what he does. Every time he gets a hoof into place, he figures out a way to shoot that hoof off. Now, I don't know about you guys. Most of you guys might not mind eating pig feet every single day. But after a while, it just gets boring. It just really gets boring. But we'll see how he plays it. I have to say, though, I wouldn't mind watching him play Knights of the Old Republic, though. That's just my own personal opinion. I'm not giving him no money for it, though. I would just say that, you know, to entertain me, I would be okay if he played that game.
Oh. You go to thekingofhate.com, which is my website, you go to the forums, you go to the general section of the forums, okay? And you go right to the thread and you vote on the games you want to see be the viewer's choice.
Oh, hell no! You want them to go to that doxing Well, this actually, to be honest with you, if you think about it, this will make it easier for him to get the game that he wants. Because he knows that the detractors and the critics are always like, oh, don't go to his forums, because I know I'm kind of basically mocking myself, but oh, don't go to his forums because he can dox you over there. Well, yeah, he can see who you are over there, but because of that, those who do go over there and participate, he can go ahead and manipulate the poll any way he wants. So this actually works to his favor. Hence the reason why he always ends up going to, vote on the games that you want on my forums. Because if he tries to use a poll on another site, which he has tried to before, the first and only excuse, to be honest, is, the haters and the trolls, or as I call them, critics now, the critics and the detractors manipulated the polls. There's no way to find out what really won and what didn't, because all of a sudden everything was even, and then I checked back 4 days later, and then one thing just rocketed all the way up. All the way up to the top, and it just doesn't make any sense. It had to be the detractors. It couldn't just have been a group of people who really want to see that game win. It has to be the detractors and the haters. He's still butthurt from that Mario Sunshine situation, because he knew what he was doing. He knew he was ripping those people off of their $1,250. He sat there and put it on the back burner for what, 4-5 months? Before he finally was forced to play it. Forced. Now, ladies and gentlemen, theoretically, I shouldn't be saying that because people paid their money for him to play Mario Sunshine. So he wasn't forced into shit, but he literally acted like he was being waterboarded to play that game, despite the fact that he's been sitting on their $1,200 for X amount of months. To be honest, he probably spent it, you know what I'm saying, that following month, right away, gone, ASAP. And so he got mad because he had to come through and pay his dues. He had to come through and pay his obligations. And he was pissed off about it. Fucking asshole. DSP News.
Through. Anyone can do this, and this whole thing can be flipped on its head. It can be, alright? Keep in mind, the poll is not closing soon. It's going to be at least till this next weekend, alright? If not, the weekend after. I may have it open for 2 weeks. I'm not sure yet.
Okay, so yet again, it's okay that hey, if the game that you guys see, the game that is currently in the is the front runner, that's currently winning, even if it's the game that you don't want, don't abandon the poll yet. You guys can just the voting's still gonna be open. Keep voting, and the game that you want still has a chance to win until that game becomes a game that Phil doesn't want to play. Then all of a sudden, the trolls, the haters, the critics, and the detractors came in and screwed everything up. So now I have to make an executive decision. Right, Phil? Right, Phil? Right. Again, it's gonna be out super fucking late, so by the time that happens, this will be all over with. But I guarantee you, that's how it's gonna play out.
So, please, if you have not yet, go check it out. Yes, you can vote on multiple games. It's multiple choice. So let's say, oh, out of these 12 games, I want to see Phil play 4 of them. You can vote for the 4 that you want. All right? So please do so. All right? And let's see what happens. Right now, like I said, Mario 64 is in the lead, but not by much. And, you know, many other games could overtake it.
There's people that slowly became toxic.
Nihilistic wish list. Don't know why his name is nihilistic wish list.
There's a nihilistic goldfish too, right? I'm pretty sure there's a guy named Nihilistic Goldfish. Huh. Alright, sorry, I just random as hell, but I just want to throw that out there.
But he cheered and said, "Are you still taking suggestions for the July sub goal? If so, I have a suggestion for an event that I don't think you've done before. Maybe you could do a retro stream where you point the camera at your TV, use your camera's built-in mic, and play a game from 2008 to 2013 before you started direct capture. Maybe even record the episodes in 10-minute chunks for added authenticity. It could be a cool nostalgia stream and a throwback to your roots." It's an interesting suggestion. However, there's a few reasons why, sadly, I can't do it.
Laziness.
Okay, first things first. Now, people have actually given Phil credit, not within the Detractor community or anything, outside of it. People, outside observers of Phil's shenanigans have given Phil credit, being that, well, when Phil does something or he doesn't do something, he at least explains it. I mean, he can pig-splain until his face turns blue, but that don't mean that it ain't bullshit. But, okay, fair enough. We'll go ahead and go along with that. It would have been easier just to tell him no. And be like, hey, man, I'm not going to do that. And just move the fuck on. Because why not? But Phil needs to go into these long-winded explanations to almost... I guess it really is pig psychosis. To basically bring you to hoof, if you will. To bring you to hoof with the decision so you don't ever question him again. And not just the individual asking the question, but anybody else who follows it up. But here's the ironic part of it, is that a couple of months down the line, he might actually bring that idea up as a sub-goal or whatever the case may be. And try to pass it off like it's a good idea. More importantly than that, pass it off like it's his idea. He's done that before, too.
I'm very sedentary in my lifestyle. I don't move a lot, being honest. I sit here on the couch streaming all day long most days.
And allow me to explain. First of all, if you're wondering what this person is referencing, this is how I used to record. Before I went direct capture in 2013, I used to have a digital camera that I would set up on a tripod in front of me. For some years, I put it on a table that used to be in front of me when I lived in Connecticut. And then I started using a more professional tripod setup. And, you know, I did that for a good 5 years. That's how I recorded my gameplay and spread it until I went direct capture. All right? And, of course, when I went direct capture, oh, my God, the visual quality, the audio quality, everything just went up tremendously. And, you know, I haven't changed since then. I'm always going to be doing direct capture in the future, okay? So, ever since I used to do that, you know, there's people who used to watch my stuff back in the day. And let's face it, those videos are archived forever on YouTube. You could watch all my old school stuff that I used to do with the camera right now. It's all live, right?
He's not being completely honest about that story, too. Being that, you know, people asked him for years to go to direct capture. He wouldn't do it. And then when he finally did it, it was still like pulling teeth. Especially the first or second time he tried to set it up. Especially when he was doing live... Sorry. When he started adopting direct capture, he also adopted live streaming too. And he completely bitched and complained and whined about it. Like, he went on these ridiculous late night rants about how, oh, this isn't easy. You guys just need to admit that. You guys want me to change and make all these changes, but they're not easy changes, despite the fact that the other people that you guys watch say it is. They're liars. They're liars. They say it's easy. They say it's simple, but I can't do it, so it can't be simple. It was just sad listening to it. Like, some of these rants, some of these forum conversations, some of it I think maybe even spilled out on Twitter. It's just sad. It was just really sad to read or sad to listen to. That, you know, we're talking about a guy who is, what, almost 30 at that point? I think he was almost 30, if he wasn't already 30, bitching and complaining about the fact that he's a fucking boomer and that technology was just above his grasp for whatever reason. But it wasn't even that. It was just he wouldn't take a couple minutes to listen to what people were saying. Phil Burnell is very much the type of individual to you could tell him something, and he only gouges out, and that's the term I'm going to use. He only gouges out what he feels that is relevant to him and discards the rest. The problem is the piece that he has is just that. It's a piece to a much larger puzzle. And since he discarded everything else, he wonders why. Well, why didn't this one thing work? I thought that was the most important part. Well, if you thought that was the most important part, then you would know what you were doing. You would understand then, right? If you were able to zero in on this one instance or on this one particular segment and consider that that's the most important part. Phil, you're not that smart. Most people aren't. That's why there's something called instructions. But Phil's the type of idiot to pull something out of a box and try to put it together on the rip. But that's neither here nor there. I wonder if he owns anything from IKEA. Actually, I know. Well, we know he does because he shops at IKEA. I wonder how many times he's put something together before he realized that he got it wrong. And then Panda would have to go back behind him and be like, yeah, just read the damn instructions. If he can. Because, as you know, he's supposed to be wearing glasses and he doesn't. Because, you know, that's a thing.
I've seen this over the years, like, man, that would be a cool nostalgic throwback if Phil were to do a playthrough with his old camera, you know, as kind of like an Easter egg kind of a deal, alright? So, it's an interesting suggestion, but sadly there's a few reasons why I can't really make this work, and I'll explain. I don't want to just shoot this down and say, no, I'm not interested. The truth of the matter is I actually probably would be interested in doing it, just for the fact that I haven't done it in a million years, and there's so many, you guys don't even understand how many factors came into play when I used to do it. Every time the brightness changed in a game, I had to sit there at the exposure and gamma settings of the camera and fuck with them. So I was on the fly constantly adjusting brightness and everything every time I played a game. It was pretty frustrating, but at the same time it was fun as hell to do because no one else was doing it. Alright? But, here's a few reasons why sadly I can't do it.
It was fun as hell because no one else was doing it. Maybe because they realized it wasn't worth doing. I don't know.
Do it. And these are very matter-of-fact reasons, okay? Number one, because now I'm an interactive live streamer. So, if I were to do the camera setup, okay, and record with the camera, I would also have to maintain a live stream because people are going to want to watch live. I can't just skip live streaming and not work for the day because I'm doing a throwback playthrough with the camera, alright? You have to understand, guys, as I explained already on this pre-stream, the vast majority of my contributions come through via streaming. I need to stream every day to pay my bills. I can't just say, oh, I'm not going to stream for 2 days because I'm going to use the camera and record offline. It would never work, alright?
Being very honest with you, I think the better thing or the more reasonable thing to do would be like, tip me some money. I can't wait for the money.
So, in that regard, I would have to...
Wait, he couldn't set up another camera and have another program going to where it records him, right? Like his mugly face, and then have the other camera actually record the game footage and audio? Is that really not a thing?
Find a way to stream while I'm recording. Which, basically what I could do is do double duty. I would have to basically be doing a stream with my current capture setup while also recording with the camera. That's a tall order. Quite frankly, I think that it would end up being so demanding that I wouldn't even be able to focus on the game.
Ultimate laziness.
And I probably also wouldn't be able to really put off an entertaining live stream because I'd be so focused on the camera itself.
You don't put out an entertaining live stream now. And you're telling me that you can't... You mean just because you're obsessed with looking at the chat every 2 minutes... You're telling me now that it's been reduced to every 5 minutes or so, it's still an issue? Especially since if he's broken up into 10-minute segments, he kind of has to keep an eye on the he has to actually keep an eye out on the chat if you think about it. I'm just saying, I mean, I don't know. These are some really stupid excuses, to be honest. It's just really lazy. And it's really dumb. It's really, really dumb. Because before he even adapted... Even after he adapted direct capture, he used to still be knee deep into, after he adopted direct capture, he was still knee deep into into the chat while he was doing his live streams and so on and so forth anyway, and eventually those ended up getting broken up into 10-minute segments. So what's the difference really? Like, he's making it seem like it's way more difficult than it really is. Especially since he still has the cameras. And I'm sure he still has the little 2 or 5 gig, I can't remember how many gigs they were, memory cards for his cameras. So what's the holdup? And keep in mind, this guy was presenting it to him as an idea. This wasn't going to be an end-all, be-all.
That it wouldn't work, alright? That's just number one, being matter of fact. Number two, okay, I don't think my camera works anymore. My camera that I used to use for doing all this kind of stuff was a camera that I basically ran into the ground. I used this camera, if I remember correctly, originally I started using that particular camera in either 2010 or 2011, and I used it every day for 8+ hours a day.
Wait, didn't, when he did his office tour, sorry, I'm gonna have to dig deep into the lore here a minute. When he did his original office tour, or office/studio, that's such a joke, studio tour, didn't he show us, like, 1 or 2 cameras? Or was it during, like, an Axe the King or something, that he showed us the camera that he was using, and then he showed us the other 2 cameras that he had been using? Actually, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. It was during, maybe it was when he did the video where he was basically like, I got you bitches, on their Project 7 money. And he was explaining all the reasons why he couldn't do it, because they didn't hit the Patreon goal for him to get the nice camera with the large wide lens. And he was talking, and one of the reasons that he brought up was, oh, well, why don't you just use the cameras that you already have? And I think he showed there was either 2 cameras or there might even have been 3. And he still had them. There's, like, I'm sure they're probably on his desk or they're in his desk somewhere. They still work. They don't work the way he wants them to, but they still work. Now he's saying he ran them into the ground and they're absolutely useless. And why can't he just use the webcam? We don't actually have to see Phil's face. Or we don't have to see Phil at all, to be honest, while he's doing that. Just like how it was back in the olden days, Phil. I don't know. Maybe I'm just bringing too much logic to the situation.
And if I remember, at the very end time when I basically was going direct capture, that camera was having all kinds of issues. The batteries weren't working properly in it anymore. The battery door was falling off. Like, basically, I couldn't even keep the camera closed.
You know, it's funny, too, now that I brought that up, and now that he brought that up, every piece of electronics that he has is broken in some crazy-ass way that he can't explain. It's almost as if Phil Burnell can't take care of anything. Not his own life, not the well-being of his loved ones, not any of his stuff. It's really, really strange. It's really, really strange how this guy who's so trying to protect everything that he owns doesn't seem to take care of it very well. His home, for example. You ever fix that leak on the roof there, Phil? Stuff like that. Very strange. Very strange.
In order to make it work properly, it was like opening and the batteries were falling out. And it was basically having a ton of issues. I was like, damn, you know, incidentally, one of the reasons why I did adopt direct capture when I did was because I didn't want to go out and buy another digital camera.
But wasn't that the point of you opening up a Patreon, though? To buy a camera, to buy soundproofing, to buy a new microphone and all that. And the camera was not only to make your content better, but also to help with the filming of Project 7. Not the trailer, Phil. Not that dumb shit that you're regurgitating out now. But to actually record Project 7. To actually film with it. Am I the only one who remembers that? I know I'm not, but you know what I mean. Wow.
Do you want to play the fucking game?
Smash me, tipped me $1. He says, here's some advice, stop talking, get on with the fucking game.
To replace that one, when I probably could just go direct capture and improve the quality of my stuff for about the same cost. You see what I mean? Instead of going out and buying a $400 digital camera, I went out and bought a capture device and a bunch of, you know, other stuff, and it allowed me to basically go up to the quality level that people wanted. So, for me to even do this, alright, what I would have to do is fish out the camera. It's in a closet somewhere in the house, fuck around with all the components, and see if I can even get the camera to work, which very well...
There's only 2 closets that it can probably be in. Either in the Nook, which is probably in one of the storage bins that's towards the front. And the reason why that, I can almost guarantee you that, is because all of his statues and everything are in the far back. Or it's in the... Or it's, like I said, it's in the closet that's right next to his love seat. And yet again, I would assume it's somewhere rather close. But to be honest, I think it's over there next to his desk. Or it's in one of the cabinets or one of the storage containers over there. Just my personal opinion, of course.
Might not. The camera's been unused for many years now. So, in reality, is it an interesting idea? A throwback to the old school style? Absolutely. And I think there's a nostalgia factor there that some people might like that. Of course, anyone who's watched me from 2014 on, probably wouldn't give a shit. You know, anyone who hasn't watched the old school stuff probably wouldn't care and be like, why does this look so terrible? Why is the brightness off? Why are the volume levels terrible? You know what I mean? It's just not very viable. It would be a what if scenario if I could even make it work, and if I did, then it would end up be doing, like, trying to...
Okay, so it was... I shouldn't do that because I stutter too. But, so you consider it to be basically a bad way of conducting business, and it wasn't very viable. But yet, while you were doing it, you were defending it basically tooth and nail. It's funny how Phil does that too, where whatever he's currently doing is the right way to be doing it, until he eventually abandons it for something else. And then he shits on it, being like, yeah, it's a terrible way of going about it, and people don't care about their content if they continue to do things that way. I don't know. It's amazing how he does that too.
A stream with the camera, it's just not going to work. Ideally, the reason that worked back in the day is because I didn't live stream. I could focus on the camera, adjusting.
It didn't work back in the day either. That's why people were asking you to change to direct capture, oh, I don't know, 3 or 4 years until you actually did it. Which I guess it kind of means it never really worked, did it, Phil?
Splitting the parts every 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, there was a time when that made sense and it worked perfectly. Sadly, in 2019, those times are over 5 to 6 years outdated.
Well, the reason why it worked perfectly back in those days is because he had ads on every one of those videos, and he was guaranteed to get paid off of them because the ads were right there at the beginning. That's why he didn't mind putting out so many 10-minute videos, or even 20 or 30-minute videos later on down the line. He didn't mind doing it because he knew he was going to get his guaranteed paid off at the beginning.
I don't think that it would work. All right. So I appreciate your suggestion. I understand why you suggested it. Sadly, I just don't think it would be viable in the modern era. Okay.
Oh yeah, I can tell you right now the part.
It's funny how yet again he knows what's viable in the modern era. Yet you look at his Twitch chat compared to anybody else's, and it looks like he's still in the goddamn Stone Age of streaming. Just saying.
Worse. So it's probably some kind of an insult about my wife or something stupid, I'm sure.
Last Rambo cheered 50 bits and says, should we not be worried about inflated votes for the viewer's choice because of alternate accounts? No, you shouldn't. Because unlike when people vote on things like a straw poll, all right, in order to actually have an account on my website, you have to register and go through these hoops to do it. Could someone potentially sit there all day and create a ton of clone accounts? Yes, but it's very time consuming, and I wouldn't count on someone doing it. In addition to that, the other thing is...
why wouldn't they do it? Someone did that on Twitch and whatnot. They were, well, like I said, Twitch already cleared us all this up. But fun little story. A group of people got really, really pissed off on the fact that certain people were getting away with shit more than others. So, at least one individual is surmised to have done this. Found a program which would have allowed them to allow the program to make multiple Twitch accounts over and over and over again. And they were using these accounts to stream porn, hentai, so on and so forth. So every time Twitch took that one account down, 4 or 5 more would keep popping up. And the more Twitch took the accounts down, the more new accounts popped up. They actually had to turn off Twitch for like 12 hours. Some people say it might have been a day, but I think they said they had to turn off Twitch for like 12 hours just to finally get ahead of it and actually, shut it down. Now that's Twitch. That is a program, right? There was a program used to make a bunch of email accounts, right? to generate a bunch of email accounts, to in turn make a bunch of Twitch accounts, and then automatically started streaming all over the site. You're telling me someone wouldn't find a program similar to that, which probably isn't hard. Go to Pirate Bay or some shit to find it. If not, go on to like 4chan or something. And then go ahead and make a bunch of sock accounts, or generate a bunch of sock accounts for Phil's outdated fucking forum and do it? You telling me that's not a thing? You telling me that wouldn't happen? Come on, Phil. Just because you're a lazy piece of shit don't mean other people are. It's not even a matter of working harder. It's just working smarter.
If you take a look at the voting, alright, it's not like someone who makes 5 to 10 clone accounts is going to really throw the voting. We've got a lot of people. I think the top game right now has 40 votes, and the voting's only been open for 2 days, not even. So I definitely predict that by the end of the week, too, you know, coming by, we're going to have tons of votes in there. So just someone sitting there making a few clone accounts isn't really enough to skew the voting regardless.
And in addition to all of that,
when was the last time there were 40 people on your forums at one time? Every time I've seen screenshots of it, it's just outright dead. Or there's you and like 3 other people, and there's like 200 guests. So yeah. So when's the last time 40 registered users of Phil's forums have been up there at the same time? Just something to think about.
I do have the capability to look at IP addresses
Of accounts, and if I find an account that's like the same IP for 10 accounts, I will just negate those votes, alright? And I haven't found
good job, Phil. I've been waiting for this. So, I thought, Phil, you only had their email address and that was it. You had nothing else. Nothing else at all. There's nothing else available to you. Just like when people use the anonymous, whole thing for the anonymous cheering or bidding or subbing to you and whatnot, or, well, cheers and donations or whatever. When you're doing it anonymously, allegedly he can't see you when you do that too. Yet Phil has, even up to this particular point, multiple times called out people. He didn't mean to. He did it inadvertently, but he's called out people who have donated to him anonymously. You'll see it come up on his stream as anonymous donated $10. When Phil finally gets to that donation, he actually says the person's name. But how could you have done that when it was anonymous? And that was the only $10 cheer or donation or whatever the case may be. So how would you know that? How would you know it was him? But either which way, that's semantics. Okay, that's you know, it's Detractor logic. But now Phil's saying that, oh, I have full information, or I can look up your full information from your IP address now if you're going to go over there and play games with me. Okay. So, Phil, you remember how you told Be Awesome One all those years ago, many years ago. I should really get a soundboard. But many years ago, that I know how did that whole thing go? I'm gonna try to do this verbatim. Shit. Oh well, I think I can freestyle most of it. All right, you fucked up. Okay, you fucked up. Be Awesome One. I know your name. I have your name. I have your IP, and I have your address. You fucked up. You fucked up. Be Awesome One. But I'm not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna use your information. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. This is not a doxing website. I don't do any of those things. I don't believe in that. But know that I got you. Okay? So think about that. And then you started making all those idle threats about, oh, well, maybe I should come across the pond and see him. I wish you would. At least if Brightside Viking said that he was going to put hands on him, I believe that Brightside was going to do it. I mean, shit, he called him the N-word, so you might as well go over there and put hands on him if you can. But you, Phil, were you going to do that? Nah. But anyway, whatever. Just a little bit of DSP lore for you. You didn't mind putting out the threats then. You're telling me he wouldn't do the same thing now? Either which way, thank you, Phil, for admitting, for finally admitting that. So for any of you guys who are wondering, Phil does have access to your IP address.
On that yet, luckily. So we'll see how things go here, but so far, no problems. Okay?
remember the meme? I know what I'm doing.
Minori01 tipped me $5 and says, is it possible to add the chat to your YouTube videos? Wish you a good stream. Now, I believe what Minori01 is referencing would be to add the stream chat to the videos so that when you're watching on YouTube, you can see what people are saying in the stream chat. The answer there
Did you just pig-splain a question that was already asked to you? Phil. I don't know why Phil does that. The guy asked him a question, and Phil felt the need to be like, I think he's referencing, he didn't reference shit. He asked you a question. Put your stream chat into your videos. Can you do that? Which you can. But can you do that? Not get into this whole rigmarole on like this shit is some fucking science project and whatnot where you're trying to isolate the gout gene. It's not that serious. Jesus Christ.
Tutorial 1 is no. Let me explain why I don't want to do that, alright? The reason why I don't have comments on my YouTube videos for the last 2 years is because sadly there is a very disgusting, toxic, negative element of people who follow me around the internet.
So you're gonna let these disgusting, vile people on the internet control your life and ruin your business, being that comments are like a very critical part of engagement on your YouTube channel. And if, and this is a big if, they do decide to actually take away the likes and dislikes, then what, Phil? Once the likes and dislikes are gone, that's a whole nother point of engagement that's missing. So now all you would have is the comment section, which does work into the algorithm. And the only thing I can think of if they do ever took away the likes and dislikes, the only thing I could think of that would actually even balance that out, unless they just change the whole algorithm system itself, is how often your video is being shared amongst different people, where it's embedded in external websites and so on and so forth. And nobody shares Phil's videos. Only Phil does on Twitter. So then what are you going to do? Now, granted, there is that thing, or I think they're going to act, well, I don't know if they're still going to keep it, but there is that thing where if people say naughty things in your comment section, it could possibly get your video demonetized. So that's a thing. But they're talking about pulling back on that because that's being unfair to the content creator, which obviously it is. So, I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. But it's funny, though, how, Phil, you let these people basically imprison you. You basically changed how your archive works because of how other people acted with it. And it's not like the trolls were going in there and just saying all kinds of naughty stuff, right? It's the fact that former fans or even current fans were going in there and stating their piece on the situation. And Phil was pissed off about it, and he didn't want that showing up in Detractor videos. Well, okay, regulate your comment section, Phil, like you used to. Oh, well, you don't want to do that. And if they go to Twitch, they're going to get banned. So you see how he wants, like, he's literally killing YouTube off on his own. It's not just, he's the one who's boxed himself in. On top of his language, too. Like, his language is really shitty, too. Especially when he gets angry. Which, as far as I'm concerned, he's always angry. So what are you going to do now, Phil? What are you going to do now? Jesus Christ. Oh, Tractor's... Tractor's got you at knife point. It's hilarious.
And tried to make my life miserable. They found a way to make disgusting, drama-filled, toxic content on YouTube become popular.
They made your life miserable through some comments, bruh? Some comments. So sad. Alright.
Leaving negative comments on my videos. And then what people would do is read the negative comments, and they would be ridiculous, over-the-top, really gross stuff. And they would make videos based just on the comments. Like, wow, look at the toxic viewers of Phil's content making fun of him. And this became a big drama thing for years. Like, for years, this would be the content of people's nasty videos on YouTube. And it became a thing. It became a meme to come to my content and say nasty stuff to get noticed on the internet. Like, people would purposely say, what's the most insanely over-the-top, ridiculous, disgusting, toxic thing I could say on Phil's video to get noticed in one of these other videos on YouTube today? Okay? So, essentially, I said, I'm not going to play that game anymore. And I turned off comments on my YouTube videos, and all of that went away.
I don't know how to...
Actually, no. Because now people just pull it from his stream chat. And he knows that. But he can't do anything about it. So he's kind of stuck. So what makes it any better? And then, somehow or another, screenshots of his Just Mods conversations eventually get leaked every once in a while, too. It's just not safe over there. They call that place, or at least I call it, the Gestapo chat for a reason.
This problem with my eyeballs.
It did. Like, people can't do that anymore. Alright? So, that's a good thing. That's a very positive thing. It got so bad that my actual viewers and fans asked me to do it, by the way. So people were like, you know, Phil, that negatively hurt you. I mean, I'm sure in some ways it did, but when my longtime viewers who were there to positively view the content are telling me to turn off the comments because it's so disgusting, I listen. So I did, okay? So, moving along to your question.
So it's funny how you can't do anything to make your streams better, right? At all. You can't take any of that same fan, not contributions, fan suggestions, if you will, or even viewer suggestions to try to make your streams better. You won't do any of that, but you will go ahead and listen to their suggestions on YouTube and whatnot and kill your comment section, despite the fact that that was counterintuitive for anybody who's a fan of Phil, because if you can't go to his streams on Twitch because of bandwidth or whatever the case may be, and or if you've been banned unfairly off of his stream chat, you have nowhere else to go except for the forums. And that's obviously a bad idea. He's more than likely going to avoid you on Twitter, or he's never going to answer you back. Emails are a joke, so then the only place you can go is the comment section. And now that's gone. Huh. So it's funny how, yet again, all the things that he's doing benefits him in the end. Just imagine, ladies and gentlemen, for a brief second, that you base your well-being of your business. You base your business's well-being on comments from people who you already know don't like you, or people who have a valid reason not to like you, or in your own head have invalid reasons and are just jealous of you. So if any of that's the case, you can't ignore any of that. You're really going to give a shit about what a bunch of people say on your chat about, oh, Phil, just get rid of the chat, or just get rid of the comment section. It doesn't mean anything. But you guys are communicating with Phil through that same comment section. So why would you guys want to cut another avenue off for yourselves when Phil has already told you that a lot of those comments have ended up in Detractor videos, and that shit bothers him? He didn't come out and say it because he's a bitch, but realistically, that's what happened. Huh. Okay, no problem.
Having the Twitch chat in my videos on YouTube, okay? Essentially, what would happen is if I started having the Twitch chat on my videos on YouTube, it would be two things. Number one, I firmly believe it would take away from the quality of the gameplay.
I was never Phil the walkthrough master, Phil the tutorial guru. I'm forewarning all of you, if you're expecting greatness and great gameplay.
But your YouTube videos are trash now, when all it is you giving cheers, saying that interactions are low, saying that contributions are low, bitching about the game itself being bad or you being bad at it. What? Like, how does that, and how does any of that make a difference when YouTube is an archive? So who cares who says what over there? Who gives a shit? You should want that. That means there's more people that have to go over to your videos and click on that bitch so they can get the comments. Playing the whole game backwards. Really are.
You're not going to get it.
Alright? I'm not a guy, even though, yes, I do interactive streams, and the interaction with my stream is very important. I do feel that having a running chat on the screen would be very distracting to the gameplay and take away a large portion of the gameplay screen, to the point where I think it would be a bigger detriment than a positive when it comes to the gameplay quality, alright? That's number one. Number two, what would end up happening is I would reopen Pandora's box. Because the bottom line is, since I closed comments on YouTube, that whole Pandora's box of having people purposely act up like an asshole or an idiot to get noticed went away. But
well, yet again, I thought this was supposed to help the actual DSP fan, the DSP user, right? The DSP follower. But yet again, all you're doing is giving me more and more reasons on why it benefited you. Semantics, I'm sure.
now imagine, now I got the chat on the videos. Oh, I can just go into Phil's chat and say something absolutely ridiculously over the top, and yeah, I'll probably get moderated and banned for it, but I can get it on his stream for a minute, and that'll be in the video forever on YouTube. Yeah, I'll be immortalized. And then people can make videos about, look at the ridiculous things.
But people do that now, though. To be honest. God damn it, Phil, you're failing so badly that you don't even feel it yet. You don't want to know what it is, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to think about it? It's like an insect that's getting its legs pulled off of it, and it doesn't feel it yet. So it's suffering from like, what's that term? Is it called phantom limb syndrome? It's like that. Like he can still feel the limb twitching despite the fact that it's not there anymore.
Chat on YouTube. Ha ha ha. You see what I mean? So it would basically just completely redo the entire issue again. No, I'm not doing that. I refuse to have that shit come back. I got rid of that toxic content on purpose a long time ago. By no means do I want it to come back ever. Alright? So...
so, remember, ladies and gentlemen, it's supposed to be an archive. It doesn't have any other meaning than that. It holds no other value than that. But never wants to open up that box again. Never wants to walk down that lonely road of toxicity. Ever. Ever.
There you go.
Alright, I guess I have to, look for a full-time job, although I know it's going to be ridiculously hard because I have kept my eye on the job market, and there's no jobs in my job sector available. A lot of people have said, why don't you get a
So then go into another job sector, though. Come on, valedictorian. I'm sure you have more talent than that.
Time job. Okay, you're crazy, alright? $9 an hour is nowhere near enough money to support me. Someone said, gee, why don't you get food stamps? Because food stamps don't pay your mortgage, okay? So let's stop being silly and stop, people are just, again, it's what it is just jealousy that people are jealous that I'm trying to make this work as a full-time job and they're just trying to hate. They don't understand. Either they're not in my position where they're not an adult who's looking for a job in America right now, or they're just trying to be haters and trolls, okay?
Italian
Wait. I need to find that. I need that. Okay, so let's get this straight. You're failing, or you're not. I jumped the gun on that. Sorry, I kicked the spam can just a little too quick on that. My bad. You are not doing very well in what you're doing right now, or what you were doing right then. You're probably, if I had to guess, begging for views, which is what you're good for. People are saying, hey, if this isn't paying your bills, or if you're struggling, maybe you should consider doing something else on the side. Like, I don't know, finding a job, which is what you said you were going to do when you got in your laid off video. When you got laid off, you said that you were going to continue to look for the job, or look for a job, and whatnot, but if you could make anything out of this YouTube thing, you would try to. So obviously you never looked for a job. I don't give a fuck what anybody say about that. I know you didn't. You ended up making the YouTube thing work, kinda. Then you got kicked, then your AdSense got kicked off. Then you went to Blip. We all know how you did that nonsense. You came back, go to Machinima, making money, spending quite a bit of it, having to beg for views now. And then what's your excuse? Oh, I can't look for a real job because nobody in America can find a job? Oh, no, sorry, I jumped the gun yet again. I can't find a job in my job sector that's going to pay me what I'm currently making. And working for $9 or $10 an hour is a fucking joke. Because your job made it mandatory for you to buy that condo that you got cucked out of as a thing. Fair enough, whatever. Then you're saying that nationwide, the United States as a whole, no one can find a job because jobs are so bad. So because of that, all of you guys who are trying to suggest me getting a job, fuck you. Just click on my videos and shit so I can continue to do this for a living. You were doing this back then in Connecticut, bruh. Which means you weren't really that white hot popular that you said you were you? You weren't really the influencer that you tried to imply that you were. You weren't really that successful, were you? Phil, you better hope I don't find that video. You better hope no one anonymously sends me that video. Come on, love tearing that one up. That's gonna be good. That's gonna be good. We're gonna get some young tender baby back ribs. You know what I'm saying? Before it got hit with the SOK sauce. You know what I'm saying? Early on. Gonna put it on the grill, indirect heat. Boy, oh boy, you better hope I don't find that video, Phil.
Cheers. Could you use your webcam for that retro stream? No. No, I couldn't. And here's why. The webcam is very low quality. The webcam is incredibly pixelated. If I record a TV with the webcam, it would look like shit. It would actually look.
So why do you use that webcam for yourself then? I mean, granted, we all know that you look terrible. So why would you use a low quality camera on yourself, even though people, your viewers, I should say, keep telling you, "Hey Phil, we don't need the cam anymore. Why don't you just go ahead and get rid of it?" Oh, I need it, guys. I need it, guys. This is how modern streamers do it. Well, modern streamers don't have shitty cameras like you though. But then you defend the camera, saying that, you know, it's the best I can do because I don't want to block any of the gameplay or any of the, you know, or anything on the screen. Huh? I'm really confused right now.
Thing like 480p. The webcam is not a good webcam. It's a tiny little lens versus the camera that I used to use to record, you know, the videos for YouTube had a giant lens with tons of adjustments and things on it that made the visual quality quite good. The webcam I have is a piece of crap and would not be good whatsoever for that.
Grayside Will cheered. He says, have you checked out the new album, Carried Diamond? These are all Detractor memes, by the way. People think I'm stupid or something. I know what it is. I don't think it's me. That's a reference to another streamer, because I've never been carried to diamond status in any game.
Yeah, he does know exactly what that is, which is funny too, because he tries to play stupid on his streams and say, I don't know why you guys are using these memes here. I don't even know what that's even alluding to. I think it's a Wings meme, but I have no clue. I don't know why you guys keep spamming that stuff. You obviously know what it is. Just say that you know. You have a crossover audience between yourself and Wings. So, what's the big deal? You're making money off of Wings. Someone needs to.
Thanks for nothing.
Support the stream. Send me a tip. Go pledge to my...
Send them money. That's all you gotta say. I don't know why you keep backtracking on all this. You've broken TOS a bunch of times and you still haven't gotten hit yet. I don't see why there's so much panic. If you were gonna get hit before now, you would have.
Do something like that. You know what I mean?
Pepsi cures PND. Pepsi apparently cures post-nasal drip. Sure it does. And he basically insulted me. So thank you very much for the insult, but the dollar tip is much appreciated as well. So thank you for that insult and the dollar tip.
Lol.
In the Jangles cheered and says, does Phil not realize that nostalgia stream is supposed to look shitty and that's part of the charm? Yes, but you understand something. There's the shitty and then there's completely unwatchable. My old camera footage was shitty, right? But it wasn't unwatchable. You could still make out what was going on in the game. The audio quality had a unique factor to it. If I used my webcam to record, it would just look awful. And the webcam also has a built-in microphone that's terrible quality. So it would be in essence, to record with my webcam would actually be worse than what I recorded from 2008 to 2013. It would actually be worse. So, Pissing Demon, I'm just curious, like, why are you being an asshole? Why did you try to mislead me with information that was completely false on the pre-stream? I'm just curious, because you're a year subscriber, yet you blatantly said that you can't get something on the wish list when I know you can. So why are you being a dick? I seriously want an answer, because, like, that's not cool to try to spread misinformation and fool me.
That is absolutely hilarious. He did the exact same shit to Chris and Teo when they were trying to help him set up his PS3 to capture so he could get his first live stream going for the next day. He almost regurgitated the same shit. Almost the exact same stuff. Holy crap.
You know, that's messed
And
up.
this whole thing about, oh, you owe me an apology, this, that, and the third. People make mistakes. It's not that big of a deal.
Great. And you can't even make a mistake. If you make one mistake, it's normal difficulty. Make one mistake, you can't win the race. Fucking gay. It's so bad.
Gay. What the fuck was that? Commit to that shit. God damn. I mean, you were a bitch before you went on Twitch, but god damn, you're... They just castrated you while you're over there. You're a fucking eunuch now. So sad. So sad.
So badly made.
I wonder, does like Amaran or Alinity Amaran, Alinity, shit, Bad Bunny, do one of them have your balls in a jar over there and shit? Do they just pass it around amongst the cam girls and shit? Is that a thing? Could it be a thing? I don't know. I should tweet at Bad Bunny about that.
What pasta do you prefer? I prefer a penne. Oh! Easy to eat. Oh! Fills.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen. So disappointing. It really was. Oh, so disappointing. Alright. So, what do we take from our situation here and our buddy? Our buddy Phil here. What came out of all of this nonsense? Chill streams are just what they are. It's a cash grab. They'll eventually fail, like everything else Phil does. It is what it is. He's going to need more than 3 games, to be honest with you. But yet again, and I'm probably one of the few people to say this, but it's true. He needs to drop the whole nighttime streams. He needs to give them up. I'm sorry. Yes, he's going to have these little boosts in influence, or not influence, in interest. Sorry. He's going to have these little boosts or surges in interest every once in a while. But that doesn't make it worthwhile in the long run, to be honest. If he can't, having a bunch of interest is good if you can keep that interest. If you can't, then you have to change up, especially if you're doing it for a living. You have to change up, and he's not willing to do it. So what good is it? But that's my own personal opinion. Let him keep hobbling along. That's what makes it entertaining. As for the whole nostalgia recording thing, to be honest, it's a good look. And it's a good look that if people are willing to pay for it, then why not do it? And eventually, he will do it. He will do it. And he'll act like it's a completely original idea that he came up with. But right now, like anything else new that's presented to him, he won't do it because he has to go through and find someone who can make it viable for him. You know what I mean? Who can hold him through it and whatnot to make sure it's foolproof. And then he'll go into that situation. He should have just outright told the guy no, and then later on down the line figure it out. But like I said, a lot of it was pignosis, and a lot of it, to be honest, is him trying to work out in his own head and through other people in the chat some of the kinks that he thinks he's going to run into. So that's my initial thoughts on that. If I had to guess though, he's going to eventually do it. But in truth, what he should do for these sub goals is just start watching Detractor content. That's what he needs to do. You know what I'm saying? I've talked to Agent Proper about that before, as well as James the Lesser. He should just do that. He won't because he's a bitch, but he should do it though, because there's money to be made on all sides. He could make the critics money, you know, and some Detractor money to some extent, and he could make his own fan base money. It's a win-win, to be honest with you. And to be honest, and this is going to be a real asshole-ish given the side that I'm supposed to be on, he doesn't even have to say anything. He can just play it. He doesn't have to answer to anything that's said about him in any of those videos. All he has to do is watch. Now, the only caveat to that is he does need his webcam on when that happens, because people are going to want to see some of his reactions, and Phil is a very reactionary type of individual. So you got to give people their money's worth. But he doesn't have to say anything. He could be, okay, what's next? Why not? It's neither here nor there. Like I said, you need a level of creativity when it comes to something like that. If I was, the internet's bad guy like that, and I had a whole group of people who hated my guts like that, and I had a whole bunch of people on my streams who were willing to pay me large sums of money to watch their videos, I'd do it. Because why not? What do you have to lose? You know what I mean? But that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there. And he's full of shit, just in general. He defended that practice for all of those years. He's even admitted, well, he admitted it when John was there, to be honest, if that means anything. But he even admitted to John that he should have listened to his fan base and converted over to direct capture like 3 or 4 years ago, and he didn't because he was just being stubborn. He was being stupid, really, but whatever. They both start with the same letter, so it is what it is. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's my take on all that. Thank you guys for coming by. I very much appreciate it, and I'll see you guys for the next broadcast, whenever that may be. Hopefully sooner than later, but you never know. You never know. So, ladies and gentlemen, This is DSP News, always late, never breaking. Unreliable coverage that you can't count on. Oh yes, a GTG network and productions. For the Snort Report, I'm your host, /anchor, GTG, and I'm signing off. I have an idea for something coming in the future. It's gonna be kinda cool, maybe. I don't know how you guys are gonna like it, but yeah, we'll see. I'm just gonna throw that out there now and see what people think. Just try to kind of get the noggin jogging, but I think it might be a cool idea. Hopefully you guys like it. All right, guys, take care of yourselves. See ya.